Well, hey kids, welcome back. We're messing with the little Firenza again. This time, I really want to know, is this car a 4-speed or not? I was told that it was, but, people get stuff wrong, and maybe they stretch the truth a little bit, but we're going to find out, and there's a couple ways of doing that. You could probably kind of inspect it and see and what parts are on it, and make an educated guess that this is factory or this isn't. But the really good way is if you can find what's called the build sheet. And that's somewhere in the car. They could be in a lot of different places, but got a good place to look on these. It's right behind the front seat. That's supposedly where they're at on these cars. There's other places, so if I don't find it there, we'll keep looking. I'm not going to give up, and we may crap out here and not find anything at all. But say you bought a roller or something that you know has been apart and people have ripped through it, there's another option, and we'll talk about that too. So let's get to it. Okay, we got the door open here, as you can see, and this is the behind the driver's seat, the passenger left side passenger footwell. Now, supposedly that is the best place to look for these build sheets. So we may not find it. I mean, this is many years have passed, but we're going to give it a shot. And there's other places to look too. But I mean, who knows? This thing could have been taken apart, or it could have leaked on that and destroyed it. I still haven't found the build sheet for my 76 Cutlass yet. I did find the broadcast sheet, which is something different, but the build sheet, we're going to give it a shot. I think we might be able to get this carpet peeled back enough just by taking out this this seat bottom here, and then taking off the sill plate, which is just a bunch of Phillips head trim screws. And I think the way I've usually seen carpet go on, I think that it's probably only tucked underneath this interior panel a very little bit. We'll find out, and we'll pull it back. Heck, it's so wrecked, I may, if I feel like it's under there, can feel it and can't get it, I may just get the box knife out or something. I hate to do that. Probably won't, but we're going to give it a shot and see. May find nothing, may find something cool. Okay, got that seat out with like no effort. It's pretty typical, a GM, whether you got a little, half bench or a full bench here. Usually the bottom part of it is just kind of snapped in place. There's a bracket in the back, which the seat belt's laying over top of it, that kind of, it's like a fork, kind of slides underneath there. Or I guess tongue and groove would be a better description of that. And it kind of pushes in, and it's kind of on some spring steel, kind of push it in and snap it into a catch in the front here, and it just kind of pops forward and stays in place. And so to take it out, you do the opposite. You push it back, and it kind of releases it enough that it'll slide through that opening. You can see right there, there's two pieces here. There's two kind of tabs. Pops up and just pops right out of there. That's pretty typical. I don't know how far back that goes, but I think my old 68 Camaro is like that, and I'm not sure that could have gone back to the 50s. But anyway, if you got to take one of that of your car like this, that's what you can kind of expect. Carpet goes back a little farther than I had figured. That's okay. We'll keep going. We may have to take some seat belts out and stuff to get it loose, but we're going to keep moving. All that mess of wiring you can see in there, that's from some aftermarket stereo equipment that was in here. It's still got a head unit in it, but all the speakers are gone. And my experience with aftermarket stereo installations, at least seeing others people's installations, is that there's one of two kinds. There's total death trap, firebomb, hack job, and then there's just super pristine, precision, really, really, really nice installations. The former seems to be the most common, and is, you can tell what's going on in this old car. So that's going in the trash bin for sure. Well, I kind of jumped ahead and I stuck my hand down in this slot for the seat retraining bracket just to see if I could feel anything in there. And I'll tell you what I feel. It feels like a sheet of paper in there for sure underneath this insulation. This awful stuff that looks like packed up dryer lint, that kind of gray multicolored stuff. I'll tell you what, be very careful around that if you're ever welding or doing anything. I just about burned my whole house down. Spark jumped in between two panels and set that stuff on fire. It will not go out. It's really scary. So that's just a little sidebar there. But I'm pretty encouraged here by feeling that in there. And I don't want to tug on too hard because it's, you know, it's an old piece of paper. But I think I may be able to pull this carpet back. It's coming up. It's just being held by these screws here. So I'm going to pop this off here. And we may get to this a lot quicker than I expected. Yeah, just 3 screws, one at the front, one in the middle, one back here at the end, right by the trim piece. Hold this steel plate on. Yeah, you know, these things get kicked and beat up and banged, and people take them on and off and tear them up. As you can see, this one, pretty sad shape. I'm gonna make a wild guess and say these aren't being reproduced. So, if it bothers me enough, I'm gonna have to sit and do some serious reshaping of this. It can be done, but I don't know. There's so many other things to work on, and I may just kind of clean it up, put it back on, maybe knock some of the giant dents out of it. But yeah, you know, it's even tore through up here. So I mean, it happens. You know, my Corvairs, they're the same way, and you can't get these for a 4-door. So, or you know, I imagine probably even being a more popular car. I don't know if they have these or not. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Probably don't, but trying to find good used stuff for new old stock. You know, everybody's like, well, look, I know what I got, and you're gonna pay a fortune for it. And it's you know, that's a minor piece on a car like this. You know, if we're doing a Concours restoration, you know, you'd have to have them, but you know, we'll come up with something that looks presentable. But yeah, you know, as you could figure, it's got 3 different kind of screws in there, but who cares? We're doing something else here with this. We're going to get to this build sheet. All right, that came loose pretty easy. Didn't put up too much of a fight, like I said. You know, just 3 screws and got it off of there. Yeah, these things live kind of a rough life, and this one's no exception. You know, gets kicked with your boot, stepped on. People take them off, bend them up, over tighten them. Looks like all the above has happened to this. All that wire there is the speaker wire that I pulled out of there, all that mess. We're going to find out where that's hooked to and pull it out and throw that away, or see if it's worth keeping for jumper wire or something like that for some other electronics projects. But yeah, don't know that these are being reproduced or not. Probably not. But it's low on the priority list. We may just scuff them up and knock the big dents out of it. But that's not what we're after. We're after what's under that carpet there. And now I can get my hand underneath there and slide in and get a hold of that sheet, or if that's what it is. Well, looky, looky, looky. We no longer have to think. Now we know. That's what was under there. Now, I didn't tear this right here. This was gone. There was no piece of it in there. I think that may have happened at the factory. It almost looks like they ripped it when they're pulling it off the printer or wherever the heck, however the heck they made it, those, because it's just too smooth. You can see there's like some water damage and stuff here. That corresponds with what was going on in the carpet right there, that big old nasty stain. That's right where it was. It was up against that. So somebody put something wet and it soaked all the way through the carpet. I mean, I had my hand all the way up to the transmission tunnel trying to find that missing kind of smiley face piece in there. It's just not in there. I don't think it ever was. And I don't know if you can see that really well. It's not like it's gotten wet and dissolved. That's like it's ripped off of there. And I think that's been in there since it was built. I think it's been ripped and put in there that way, that there's no more to get. But I am satisfied because now we know. Look at this. M24 speed manual transmission right there. So this was a manual transmission car. So I'm delighted to solve that mystery. I wouldn't have been brokenhearted if it wasn't. It's cool regardless. And like I said in the previous episode, this, I got all the pieces. I can put it back to a manual, even if it wasn't. I was told that it was, don't believe that people intentionally lie all the time about stuff, although it does happen. But people get stuff wrong. Somebody tells them that's what the case is, and they believe it, and it just keeps getting passed on and on. But this is kind of cool. There's an option over here near the Firenza stuff. I think it says front license plate. And I wonder, I don't know, I'm not from Colorado, but I wonder if that was a law at the time that you had to have it by where it was delivered. This dealership is gone, but I did poke around on the web and found some badges that say Macaulay Oldsmobile Honda on them. And, of course, they want an arm and a leg for them. And but I looked at it, and I'm like, man, I can make my own, make a pretty convincing one. I think that might be kind of fun. Back of there and have the old dealership name on there where it came from. Made it quite a ways across the country. We're in Indianapolis area, so that's a far cry from Colorado Springs, but lots of other stuff on here. We'll zoom in on that and find out all the stuff, but most of that stuff is kind of like Firenza package stuff that they just kind of broken out. It does say the axle ratio on there. Can't really read it, but I can see the code. Looks like GU4, and you can look up the codes online for this. So we'll find out what that is. I know that's pretty sure that's been changed on this car, but we'll find out. But I'm pleased, man. We'll take care of this thing and clean it up really good and the best we can without destroying it. And I'll probably end up putting it back in there after I scan it and copy it and make a digital record of it. Put it back where it was, I'm just a caretaker of this old car, and put it back in there, and the next guy can discover it when they take it apart. Well, hey, what's option B? You got a car that doesn't have a build sheet, or the one that you got is even worse than this one, and you can't read it, or it's just completely obliterated. The GM Media Archives. You can get the sales invoice, and I'll show you what that one looks like. It doesn't have near the detail that this has on it, but the one that I got for this car, it told the dealership on here, which was pretty cool, and it had some of the big powertrain options on it that was ordered, not all the fine detail of all the different trim things that were on the car here, but it said engine, Firenza, and 4-speed. So it's like I got this, it says it's a 4-speed, plus I got the invoice that they sent with the car when it came from Lordstown to go out to Colorado to be sold. So, not too much doubt, no doubt that it is a 4-speed car. So the only downside to that is it's $50, and I took some Christmas money and splurged and said, well, what if I don't find this? I went ahead and did it. I could have waited and maybe not needed to spend it, but hey, it's more documentation to go with the car. And for something that is somewhat collectible. These aren't, this ain't a Duesenberg by any means, but, they've got a following. More documentation is better if you got an enthusiast. They love all that stuff. You got receipts, you got manuals, you got original paperwork, the history of the car. I mean, that's part of it, what the highfalutin guys at the concourse say, the provenance of the car, which I think this is a little more of a common man car to be having such snobbery, but we're going to call it provenance. So I have added to the provenance with this build sheet and the invoice, and you can too. Well, hey, how about that? I hope you learned something. Like I said, if the car hasn't been fussed with too much, you should be able to find something. If it's a flood car or it's really, really raggedy, it might be chewed up to the point to where all you get is just some fibers of the paper that's left. But there's that other option, and I definitely put that link in the description for you, so you can check it out yourself. Like I said, it's not as good as a build sheet, and there is a cost associated with it. But if you got nothing else, you can kind of get some more info about your vehicle than what is on the trim tag, and that's what I wanted for this, because if it didn't have a 4-speed, I may convert it to manual anyway, but it does, and we got the parts. So on down the road, we may have that third pedal working here real soon. But thanks for watching. Remember, do your homework, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. I love it. Lots of good interaction on the last video for this Firenza. People with some stories about their cars, love it. That's the fun of having an old car, right? You get to kind of talk to other people and learn things, and helps you with your own projects. But remember, dare to be different, and we'll see you next time on Smith Motorworks. Later.